if you recall, we jointly set up a committee and to basically two high-level committees were inaugurated to ascertain the current status of the impact of small-scale mining, especially on the development of our economy, as I've stated. The working committees on illegal activities in forest reserves and water bodies. The working committees was our initiative, and we are happy to inform you that this committee came up with interim reports. As a matter of fact, we jointly requested that we needed to make sure that we get an interim report on some of the work because the work is quite extensive. And so we are very happy this morning to share some of the findings of the working committee. One, that the Ministry of Lands, Ministry of Environment, the Environmental Protection Agency, Minerals Commission, Forestry Commission, Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, and MMMDCs must really work together to really deal with these issues of illegal mining. That it cannot be a fight for one isolated ministry, and all of these agencies might coordinate their actions together. That we should work with security agencies with support of regulated bodies to promptly deploy our security forces, working with the communities in all these impacted areas. That government should review all community mining licensing schemes and small-scale mining schemes through a constituted technical committee to enhance transparency, integrity within the system. It is very, very clear in the report that one of the problems we see is that the community mining schemes is only in name only. Our teams have visited a lot of these community areas where community mining schemes were done. And the general overwhelming feedback was that the communities were not involved in the mining schemes. So we cannot issue small-scale mining licenses in the name of communities when the communities, in fact, were not part of these scale schemes. That this was just a creation in name. And the recommendation is that the government must truly empower the communities if indeed we want the communities to mine. And you will see that we'll be taking steps to address those facts. And I said to you earlier that we jointly had to do this because we didn't want to just come as ministers and issue fiat without facts, without detailed investigation, supported by the people on the ground. And today we are speaking grounded on facts and work that has been done by the two committees we set up. They also recommended that LI 2462 should be amended to prohibit mining in forests. And I'm very happy that the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology is already taking the lead with our support and already sent that LI for this amendment to prohibit mining in forest reserve. And in this case, let's commend the President. He has taken the lead and charges that we should go ahead and take away the President's power to issue licenses in forest reserve. And that's exactly what the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology is working with us on. There's a need for a nationwide civil education to the National Council of Civil Education, the Ghana Education Service, and the relevant civil society organization, the media, to engage. And that is why, since we assumed office, we have not been relenting in our engagements. We believe that this whole fight must involve all stakeholders. So if you see us visiting chiefs, visit traditional authorities, if you see us organizing stakeholders engagement with Parliament, members of Parliament who represent almost every constituency in the country, if you see us engaging the media and all the other engagements we are doing, and religious leaders. It is because we believe that they can be key stakeholders in this fight, and it's very, very clear. There's something very critical they've also recommended, and we believe we have to share it with you. They're saying that going forward, licensing of small-scale mining should start at the district level, with the empowerment of the district security committees and district mining committees to carry out ground proving and vetting of all documents. DISEC will be expanded to include MINCOM, EPA, Water Resource Commission, and the Forestry Commission officials. In addition, traditional authorities from the area where the concession is being granted must be part of it. So the whole idea here, and this recommendation is critical. This business of people coming to Accra and saying they are going to mine in Elembele, and then they come, and the only thing we know is that they are there, and then we are sitting in Elembele. So I have my licenses to come and prospect and do licenses. The engagement in the community is zero. The recommendation that we believe this government will support is that the people who have the social licenses are the people right on the ground in the community. And we believe that this recommendation will not only empower the communities, but also make them accountable and responsible. They will have no excuse. For example, we can't wait for the MMDCs to be in place. And one of the important points that has been made here is that making sure that the responsible mining is done in your district should be part of your KPI. After all, the DC is going to be the chairman of the DISEC and the licensing regime. What we will do here at the top is those recommendations that will be brought, strong recommendations that will be brought, that will be approved. So this recommendation we think is very, very critical. And then so decentralizing the fight against Galamsey illegal mining to district assemblies with stated key performance indicators to hold DCs, MCs, and regional and district officers accountable, including district police officers. Remember that the DISEC include all the security apparatus at the district level. So this is very key. They also talk about the importance of making sure that there should be the process of a proper control and regulation of the imports of excavators. There are data here we have. If I show you that data, you'll be amazed. It says that a few number of imports that are in 2024, the third rank import into Ghana, the third rank things that came to Ghana was excavators, and the tune of 6.2 billion Ghana cedi. Excavators, representing 2.5% of the total import bill. So you can just imagine that on a yearly basis we are importing excavators to the tune of 6.2 billion Ghana cedi. It's the third largest import into Ghana. How are we regulating? How are we controlling it? This report is saying that as a matter of urgency, we must coordinate with the Ministry of Transport, the DVLA, and key institutions in tightening the import and the control and the direction of excavators and others. There are things that are imported in the country, and we know what they are coming to use them for. They use them to do mining in our river bodies, which is illegal. There should be a complete ban on the importation and fabrication of floating equipment and platforms used in mining on water bodies. We hear that even in some of these mining areas, there are fabrication shops fabricating what do you call them? Champagne fans on river bodies. This must be ruthlessly banned if we all agree that it is illegal to mine in our water bodies. Then there's a need for technology to be deployed. In all of this, technology must play a critical role. The MINCOM has a facility, it needs to be expanded and basically strengthened to work effectively as it has been. And we should also have a training for small-scale mining license holders. People should not simply be given a license. They must be required to have gone through some process of certification of training, certified that they've gone through some training programs. And that will be done. Then, one of the ones alive, they say that there has to be a name and shame or name and fame, especially people holding prominent positions, including political artists. We should name and shame everybody. It doesn't matter how big and high your position. What we are talking about is really at the heart of our survival. So we are very excited. I just gave you key findings of the recommendations of the committee. But it is very clear from the recommendations that we need to take immediate actions on some things. And so this morning, based on the advice and the recommendations of the key committees, jointly with the minister, supported by the EPA and the Minerals Commission, Forestry Commission, Water Resource Commission, we are taking the following steps. And a lot of the important steps will be coming. There is established a working committee to review the current licensing regime and propose recommendations and a comprehensive strategy to tackle the issues of illegal mining. Well, I've talked about that. That's the report that I've talked about. Now, one, we are going full steam ahead to revoke all licenses based on the findings. All licenses, small-scale licenses that were issued from December 7th is hereby revoked. Whether you have EPA licenses, because the finding is very clear. Those licenses from December 7th were rushed, the due processes were not followed, and the right things were not done. People will have the opportunity to appeal to make sure the right things are done. But our whole focus is to make sure that the right things are done. Secondly, the existing community mining schemes are in name only, as I've said, although the basis for which they were funded were to benefit the community. However, the findings indicate that this is not the case. They have not been, are to be disbanded and replaced with small-scale mining cooperatives that actually serve and benefit the communities. These cooperatives will be formed after due diligence with the communities involved to properly represent the communities. So in other words, the community mining schemes that were giving small-scale mining, the investigation across all these mining communities is very clear. They do not represent the communities. And so in that case, we with immediate effect, banning all of that, basically, and reviewing them and turning them into community mining cooperatives after due diligence and engagement with the communities to make sure that indeed those are community representatives. So there will be community cooperatives, as if you recall, we have talked about a small-scale cooperatives that are in these mining areas, supported by government with the necessary training and the necessary backing. We had envisaged a back strength office of a gold board helping us to even provide the necessary support and helping them to make sure that even what they produce will be bought by government at that current market value. And so that is what we intend to do. It is also very clear that the current regime, the current licensing regime, is fraught with so many problems. So we are establishing with immediate effect a technical small-scale mining review committee to review all existing small-scale mining licenses. The terms of reference of this small-scale mining technical review committee is to review all small-scale mining licenses with reps from the following agencies: the Minerals Commission, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Water Resource Commission, Forestry Commission, and the Attorney General's Office. The committee is to be chaired by the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Yusuf Suleiman, to be deputized by a director from the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology. The committee is to audit all licenses to ensure that they are properly acquired, that due process was followed, that they meet all conditions of continuous validity with respect to the environmental, with respect to how they have followed the rules on environmental, and then how they have dealt with the issues of our water bodies, our forest reserves, and land preservation. All those standards are going to be the guide in which these licenses will be sustained. They are also to ensure permitting fees and all those requirements by all the agencies, EPA, Minerals Commission, Water Resource Commission, that all those processes required have been met. The report clearly indicates that people have just acquired licenses. One person will have 20 licenses, 30 licenses, and have all these places sitting there. They are not even doing annual reviews of these licenses. And they are continual violation of even license holders who have legal licenses. So this committee will review of that and ensure all license holders are expected to cooperate fully with this committee. The committee will have 2 months to carry out this very important assignment. All licensees are expected to cooperate and subject their documentation to this exercise within this period. All who fail to go through this process of verification, of audits, of basically validation will consider their licenses revoked at the end of the process. Lastly, both the Ministries of Lands, Environment, Science and Technology are working together to establish a new classification of small-scale licenses. You will see that we have people that have gone past small-scale licenses, yet because we don't have a classification of medium-scale licenses, all they have to do is continue acquiring licenses, and if you put their area of operation, it's more than a large scale. So we want to really create the opportunity for a medium scale as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also say that we continue the successful fight against illegal activities in our water bodies. I'm proud to inform you that we announced at the beginning, when I took office, I went to Parliament and announced that 9 of our water forest reserves were completely taken over by thugs who are destroying our water. I'm proud to tell you, with the cooperation of the security agencies, the military, we have taken back 7 of these 9 forest reserves. And we are working very hard to make sure that the other 2 is completely also. So we are close to taking over our forest reserve. We are working day and night, thanks to the support of the Ghana Armed Forces and the Defense Ministry. And so we are making progress, and we believe that with the support of the people of Ghana, we will continue to ensure that mining is done sustainably and legally to the benefit of our people. I thank you.